Hello, hello. So wait a second for YouTube to catch up. Come on. Tell me when you
wait
can
a
see.
second for YouTube to catch up.
And I didn't turn the volume down. There we go. Oh goodness. Can you guys hear me okay? I just heard myself. I'm assuming it's fine. How is everybody? We got Sandy, Godzilla, Rotary Dial. It's all the people that have won the giveaways. Rotary Dial, I need your address again because I still have to send that. Send it to me on Discord. I'll get it. Oh, I got to announce who won the giveaway. That's coming up too. I'll wait till some more people pop in here. What are you guys doing? Sunday. I don't have a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. I'm just trying to get back in the habit, I do lives on Sunday. We'll get back into it. I kind of got back into true crime this week, a little bit. So, what cases are you guys following? I've not watched anything on Summer Wells since I woke up. I have no idea what's going on with that, but I heard Dad's in jail, right? I don't know. Um, did I catch up on anything? Um, what did I watch? I watched Gray Hughes the other day, so I was kind of looking at the Delphi stuff and that the guy and his dad, um, the new suspect or whatever. Gray was hoping they would announce arrest on the anniversary on the 14th, but I haven't seen anything, so I'm guessing that's not going to happen. God, I hope it's them or him. I don't know which one. I'm not really caught up on it, but I think it's the son that's the suspect that they're looking at, right? It would be so good if they could close that case after this long. So that's just crazy that they happened to find a weird Snapchat account and he was talking of a bunch of kids. I just don't understand that. I can't wrap my brain around it. I just can't. I don't know. I want Okay, are we back? I don't know what happened. Our internet's been stupid all day. Okay, I think we're back. I didn't leave. It just StreamYard quit on me. I don't know. That was weird. Am I back for you guys? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I should be back. Yep, I'm moving on my screen. All right. I'm back. I don't know. Oh, we were talking about Delphi. I hope, you know, I don't know. I hope the girls didn't go to meet him. I hope, that would be rough as a parent. Not that it could get any worse than what their parents are going through, but I hope they tie that case up. It's just been so long. Those girls should be graduating high school, right? Has it's been that long, right? Well, weren't they supposed to be 18 this year? can't even. I have an 18-year-old. I can't even. If you guys can see and hear me, type something. Oh, this is so stupid. I don't know. I'm on here now, I think. It's the second time it just shut off on me. I don't know. We'll see if this is it. Can you guys hear me? Am I back?
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, I can hear it on my end. Turn it down. I don't know. They're doing construction on this road. Maybe they're doing something with it. I don't know. But the internet's being finicky. Anyway, so I watched a little bit of Delphi. Um, what else did I watch? I watched something else. What case was it? I don't even remember now. What do you guys think about the Bob Saget thing? Is anybody following that? You know, the dad from Full House. I don't know how he got that job. Dude's a stand-up comic, and he is very crude. If you've ever seen any of his other work, it's kind of weird that they had him play that and then America's Funniest Home Videos or whatever. First time I saw him do comedy, I was like, I can't believe that's the same guy. Okay, let's try this. So, is anybody following? You know, they found him dead in Mexico, right? He was at some resort. I don't know if his wife was with him. She's a lot younger than him, like 20 years younger. She's a lot younger than him, might even be more than that. When they found him in bed dead, my first thought was it's a drug overdose. He has a certain reputation. My hair is going batty today, it has mind of its own. Um, and then I was like, well, what is it? And they were like, we're going to wait on the medical examiner's report, but there weren't any drugs in the room and no signs of foul play. And I thought, well, maybe he just had a heart attack, killed over. Don't know. So the medical report came out this week. Dude, I don't know why they said there was no signs of foul play. The medical examiner's report says he had 3 fractures in the back of his skull that were equal to a horrendous car crash. You would see fractures like that in a really bad car wreck. And then I think it was his right side orbital bone. Your eye bone was completely broken, like crushed. How did they pick dude up and say there was no sign of foul play? You know there had to have been. I mean, dude didn't do that to himself. That's not something like, oh, there was ice outside and I fell and busted my head open. I mean, to have wounds on the front and the back, even if I can't imagine that he looked normal when they found him. I can't imagine that. Can you? So, what the interesting thing is, So him and his wife did a podcast the other day. She's big on social media. You'll see him on Instagram and stuff. She'll do her memes and whatever with Bob Saget. And you'd think it was his daughter. She looks a lot younger than him. And so they did a podcast together, not that like a couple of months ago, recently. And they were talking about movies, favorite movies. And the podcast, it wasn't their podcast, they were a guest on somebody else's, was asking what her favorite movies were or something. And she starts naming off mob kind of movies. Scarface, The Godfather 2, stuff like that, mafia type movies. And the guy whistles or something, and Bob Saget says, "Yeah, I have to watch my back. You wait. They'll find me dead in my bed one day." Now that could be completely a coincidence, but how weird is that? How weird is that? That they found him in like 2 months dead in his bed. I mean, there's no way you just like, if it's like he's on vacation, he's either at a resort doing a show or, on vacation. If you've had that kind of injury to your head, you are not getting in the bed and going to sleep. I mean, you would have to think that is major pain to break this. And you would go to the hospital, ER, just to make sure your eyeball's okay, right? There's no way it's not foul play if he's in his bed covered up and just normal. Like 3 skull fractures. I mean, whatever happened to him, it wasn't pretty. And to put him back in bed, did they clean him up? Was that why? But I mean, I don't know. You start moving people around after they have horrendous, injuries. When they're dead, you'll start pulling blood in places. You can tell somebody's been moved. I don't know. I guess it's under investigation now. Because that ain't normal. That's not normal. I can't even. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. I wonder if his wife was on vacation with him. I'm not saying she killed him or anything. I just thought it was really weird. What are the chances you do a podcast and you say you're scared of your wife and they're going to find you dead in your bed someday? That's pretty weird. In my opinion, that's pretty crazy. I can't even. What a way to go. I've been watching like a ton of documentaries. I don't know why. I didn't get a lot of true crime, but I kind of made the rounds. I watched some lawyers that I follow. I don't know. Since I'm sorry, I keep clearing my throat. My voice is not used to all this. I really don't talk very much. I mean, my life is pretty strange right now. So, um, I was so depressed, and I still am. I mean, I can still tell. Today was a good day. But like when I woke up, one of the first things I asked my husband was about Michael Vaughn and Summer Wells, where they found. When I found out it was November. But then the depression hit, like it got worse and worse and worse. And I just couldn't get into the crime stuff. I tried to watch the people that I like, and it wasn't that they weren't interesting. It was just so, I just couldn't do it. So I got so depressed, nothing made me really happy anymore. I tend to be a very positive person any other time. But like, I could definitely count on 2 hands how many times I've even put makeup on this year. or not even just this year, since November, like since I woke up. Um, I don't go anywhere. Like I go to the doctor, to the hospital. That's it. Um, I don't know. I just tried to find something that would catch my attention. Um, I haven't been talking to people very much. There's a handful of people that still talk to me. Um, I don't know. I just don't feel like myself all the time, you know? My mom tells me all the time that she misses me, and I'm like, I miss me too. um, but anyway, trying to find something, I just started clicking through. I used to follow politics really, really close. I hadn't been watching that. And then I tried to do that this week, and it was like, no, the world is still stupid. Nah, I don't want that. Um, don't want that. Pass. What else did I watch this week? But I got really big into art documentaries. Found some Van Gogh documentaries I was watching. And then there was another series that I found that was called Raiders of the Lost Art. And each episode focused on painting that was stolen. I thought it was really interesting. Um, the end of it was talking about how during World War II, Hitler pretty much raided the world on art. He made a master list of all the best art and he started taking it. Like they went to Poland and pulled out like 50 truckloads of art. They went door to door and just took everybody's artwork. Um, he would raid art museums, all kinds of stuff. The Louvre in Paris was terrified, so they emptied the Louvre. They physically took everything out of the Louvre because they were afraid he would take it. Because I mean, they have the good stuff. They've got the Mona Lisa and all kinds of stuff. He didn't just take paintings; he took sculptures. You name it, he took it. And can you imagine? Like he had this like there's like a model that he had made, and it was he was going to make this whole network of places like the Smithsonian, like they have the Space Museum and the Military Museum, like a whole section of museums. He wanted to do that. Crazy the amount of art. And so he started hiding it by the truckloads inside salt mines. And so when we joined in the war, we the U.S. got art historians and people like that and paired them up with military people to find the art. And it was just, it's crazy the videos that they have of them emptying them out. And when Hitler figured out, you know, this jig is up, they're going to come get it, he would tell his generals to wire the salt mines to blow. And when he gave them the word, he called it the Nero command or something. He wanted them to blow it all up. If he wasn't going to get it, nobody was going to get it. And so there was actually people in the not part of the Nazi party that were terrified that he was going to do that. And so they rigged the bombs, but they made them so they wouldn't go off, except for the one at the very beginning. And so when they eventually got the command to blow it, all they did was blow the front of the cave. So dude can't go back in there. He would assume that it was all gone. And there was a spy that worked with the Nazis. She wasn't. She was one of our spies. I think she was actually British, but um, she kept a log of every piece of art that came in and where they got it, who owned it, the whole shebang. And so he there was a lot of art that he wanted to keep for himself and not even put in the museum. And so he shoved it all in. I can never pronounce this castle. But if you know if you're a Disney fan, you know what I'm talking about. There's a castle that starts with in is it New? I can't say it right, but it's what Walt Disney based Cinderella's castle on. It's a humongous castle up on top of the hill. He had control of that, and so he stuffed it full of art. And then it had like 17 rooms in it or something. And then they got to the last two rooms and they opened the door, and all it was this woman's logs in file cabinets. And they were floor to ceiling file cabinets in two rooms. They are still going through it trying to find the owners. There's still art that they're trying to figure out where it goes. Isn't that crazy? That has nothing to do with true crime. But that's what I watched this week. What are you guys doing? Yeah, there is a movie about it. It's the what are they called? The something men? Monument Men. Why does that not sound right? I think that is what it's called though. Yeah, they did a movie on it. Probably what, 10 years ago or so. Um but I mean just the amount of art that we lost during World War II is incredible. There was a really rich family in Poland. The the guy was being interviewed, and it was his great grandmother. They have titles, and she loved collected art. She had a Raphael, and Hitler came in, took everything they had. I mean, she had some good stuff, but she had a Raphael, and it's still missing. We don't know if it got bombed to high heavens or not. Like where they don't know where it is. They haven't found it, and that's priceless. I just think, when they started bombing Paris, what if they hadn't emptied the Louvre? How much of that would be gone? It's crazy. There were Van Gogh paintings stolen. Oh, but he had an art dealer. It was his own private art dealer. The guy was Jewish, or partially Jewish, and he was terrified Hitler would find out. So he just played up how much he knew about art. And so the guy started hiding paintings. He would buy some of what he wanted, and then he would hide them. So the guy became a complete recluse. He had an apartment in Berlin, and then he had like a country house. He, in that house, had 1,400 paintings in the house. So he had a kid. The kid gets towards the end of his life and starts having major medical problems. And so he decides, I'm going to sell a painting to pay off some medical bills. Well, it's a painting that they've been looking for. Just so happened. So somebody comes to him. He's a recluse. He's still living in the same apartment his dad owned. And so they asked him, so where'd you get this paint? I mean, like they played dumb. And so they finally tracked stuff down, found out about the house, raided the house. 1,400 paintings. They said it was worth over $1 billion in art. And it's all stuff people thought was destroyed in the war. And so some of those paintings are still going through civil court. People are trying to get them back because he didn't say who they took them from, obviously. Some of them are worth, a lot of them are worth a crap ton of money. Can you imagine? You live your life as just a miser and a recluse, and you need money for medical treatment, and you're sitting on $1 billion worth of art. Isn't that crazy? Hey, Kathy, I don't recall. Cool, cool. Okay, so I did the. Sorry, I'm going to tell you guys about that because my husband, he like his eyes glazed over when I started talking about it, and then he burnt dinner. So it's not going to go anywhere. He doesn't care why paintings usually aren't the main color is blue. He just knows we have a bunch of Van Gogh paintings in the living room, and that's it. So, the giveaway last week, I picked a random comment from the video. I didn't tag it as a giveaway because I wanted the people that showed up for me, not just because it was a giveaway. So, the winner of the Dossier Black Orchid or Dark Orchid, I can't think of the name of it, perfume, was Kate C., who is in the chat today that I already see. Or Kate Tech, I don't know. But Kate C., I think it's Kate C. That's how I'm reading it. Hello, Stephanie. So, if you will send me an email, it's mistrial21@gmail. It's easy. Or if you're on Discord, I don't think you are, or if you are, you don't talk on there very much. Send me your address. I will mail it out to you this week. Along with rotary dial stuff. Yay. Ow. Oh, the guy with all the art? No, because they were considered stolen. Dude was a Nazi. I mean, he might have been partially Jewish, but for all intents and purposes, he absolutely worked for Hitler. He wasn't doing it for us. So, but his dad was dead, but they were going to prosecute him too because he was in possession of all of it and he knew they were stolen. But before it ever went through court criminally, he died. He was in his 60s or something. I think he had cancer. Didn't go well. Not a bit. What else did I watch this week? I don't know. Stuff on the news is all about these truckers in Canada. That's kind of crazy to me. I know some of you guys are in Canada. Oh, it's crazy. Crazy. So what else is going on? I want to get back into true crime though. I'll probably start up my kid cases again. Is there something that I've missed that I should watch? I know I missed the Brian Landry and that whole thing, but from the sound of it, that's over. I'm probably not going to go back and figure all that out. I mean, I don't think there's anything to figure out anymore. I haven't watched anything on the Vallow case since Means got booted. It just kind of. Now I'll make a video if he gets disbarred. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think they have a case to disbar him, in my opinion. What else? I think I missed. What did I miss? Oh, what's her face? Letitia Stout. I think I missed her last court date. I probably need to go back and watch that. Oh no, they got a delay, didn't they? That's what it was. They asked for her lawyer asked for a delay for some reason. I can't imagine why. I'm sure she's a lot of fun, right? Oh goodness. I dread when that goes to court, but I don't think they're going. I think they're going to treat it the same way they did Patrick Frazee. I don't think they're going to let cameras in the courtroom. I think they know it'll be a three-ring circus in Colorado. I'll be surprised if they show the Vallow case. I mean, I could see Court TV getting exclusive rights and nobody else being allowed to show it. I could see that. Can you imagine? They show the Vallow case, like the actual trial. I should say Daybell. It's a Daybell case. That Vallow family didn't need that tagged on. Can you imagine they show that on Court TV and they have Mark Means on as a commentator? That would be ironic. Has he been back on Court TV? I knew he had been on there once. He had some weird sweater on and it was weird. So I don't really know what's going on with that. I think there's body cam footage that's been released that I haven't seen. But I think it's the niece. I don't think it's Melanie. I don't think it's anything really to do with the case. So what cases are you all following? I didn't think. You're talking about Cash Gardening? That boy was arrested. He was arrested within like a week. They let him out or something? I know he was getting a psych eval. Oh, they better not charge that guy. They have him on camera. That baby deserves justice. I can't even imagine why they wouldn't prosecute him for that murder. Dear God in heaven, just the video footage from that community, they need to lock him up. He does not need to be out. Oh, he is out, isn't he? He was out on ankle monitor or something, wasn't he? Gosh, I haven't thought about that in a while. I probably should catch up. So there's something going on in the Cash Gardening case then. Oh yeah, I'd pay good money to go watch the dumbbells. I don't know. I don't know that I could sit through that trial like in the courthouse. I know there's a lot of people that want to go. When they start breaking out autopsy stuff, that is not gonna. It's not gonna be good. Not that any of it is, but I think that one's gonna be absolutely horrendous. So what's going on with Summer? Like, her dad's in the slammer for DUI, right? Huh. My neck hurts. Yeah, Michael Vaughn still hadn't been found. That's so sad. Do y'all think it was the parents? I mean, I guess if you looked at, we're in the Facebook groups, it kind of automatically goes there. Everybody's, look at the parents, which I get, but I don't think it's anything like Summer Wells. I'm sure they're getting a ton of ugly messages, but I just can't imagine. These holidays must have been horrendous for these families with missing kids. I just wonder if they're being trafficked. He looked so much like Summer, you know? I don't say that because Summer didn't look like a girl with her haircut. And There are people that traffic kids, unfortunately. I was hoping they would find Summer a few weeks after she went missing. They busted a kids' trafficking ring in Nashville and arrested like 15 people. And then it wasn't very long after that they busted one down in um, Florida because Grady Judd did his press conference and showed all their pictures and where they were and what piece of scum they were. And I was appalled as he went through everybody's photos, how many of them worked for Disney. That's something you don't even think about. There are people that work at Disney that do it so they can be around little kids, not in a good way. That's terrifying. And I mean, these are people that feed your kids, give them balloons and Mickey bars, and help them on and off rides. Like, oh, what does the world come to? You know, the little girl from San Antonio, Layla. Hello, Michelle. Yeah. Somebody, let's see, not the last live, but the one before that. Somebody was telling me to look at a case, and I looked it up, and I was like, I'm not ready. It was a little girl that had died. Her mother, her mother trafficked her. Her mother was selling her daughter to grown men. She was like 4, and one of them killed her. Like, I already think you are messed up enough if you are trafficking kids, looking at kids in any kind of way like that. But her own mother, and it wasn't just once, it was over and over and over. I would work 5 jobs. Like, there is no kind of financial problem that I would ever consider. I mean, good grief. If you want to sell that kind of stuff, you go do it. Why in God's name would you do it to your kid? I can't even. I can't remember the old girl's name. It popped out of my head. Hello, Jennifer. I mean, that woman ain't gonna make it in prison. Ain't gonna make it unless they put her by herself. She ain't gonna make it in prison. You do that kind of crap, they'll take you out, especially a woman. But that's when I tried to get back into this, and I was just like, I can't, I can't, I can't look at this. I mean, it just broke my heart to see that little girl. She's a beautiful little girl, beautiful. But I've gotten some messages this year, comments left on videos, and there was like 3 or 4 different videos that a neighbor, a friend, or a mom and a grandma of who the video was about actually saw it. And I was like, oh wow. Yeah, they were really sweet. They just, you know. But the one little girl, what was her name? It wasn't Trinity. Do you remember the beautiful little black baby in Louisville? She was like a newborn, like a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, tiny, 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 tiny. And the mom had to go to the hospital because she had complications after having the baby. And so the baby was at home with the dad, and the dad killed her. It was a domestic, she had said there had been domestic violence problems, but she just didn't know what else to do. She had to go to the hospital, and he killed their baby. She messaged me. Was it her? Was it her mom? I don't remember. One of them. Might have been both. There was one that a mom has commented and the grandma both. Um, but they said that he is out on bail right now. Look out, Louisville. I used to live in Louisville, or right outside of it anyway. Why do you get out of jail? If you are capable of killing a newborn, your own newborn, you do not get bail. What is wrong with people? Kentucky, this is stupid. This is stupid. You should not get bail. If there's one crime you shouldn't get bail for, it's the murder of a child, you know? And where do you get that kind of bail money? If you had that kind of money, why didn't you shell out and get a babysitter? I'm not saying that about the mom. If you think you can't handle a baby, get somebody else to watch it. That broke my heart. What was her name? I can't think of the baby's name. She was a beautiful little baby though. Beautiful. And the little boy, he came out on my channel as an Amber Alert. Do you remember him and his mom were kidnapped by his dad while they were packing? The dad had violated the protection order, and he found out where she was, and she was moving, and he stole her and their son. Do you remember that? And then they found him and arrested him, and he had driven her body in like a duffel bag or something and dropped it off here in Tennessee. Like, don't bring your junk here. Don't do that. That that little boy's grandma reached out to me. She has him and said, she liked the video, but that he was doing really well, and they were coping, and was happy somebody made a video about her daughter, that they really missed her. And I think one of her friends contacted me too. One of her really good friends. Maybe it was one of her friends that told her mom to watch it. I don't know. That's, I don't know. When I started this channel, I never thought people connected to the case would contact me, I guess. That's the biggest compliment I can get is, oh, you made a video and it was good. I appreciated it, or whatever. I made a list last year because I was going to make a video at the end of the year of all the cases we had covered with the kid's name and their picture and all that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I just didn't. So, like, I started this channel, the Mistrial channel, March 3rd, I think. And I went into the hospital with COVID on September 10th. So just those months, March through September, we covered 36 different kids. And maybe a handful of them were Amber Alerts that were found. Maybe. That's so sad. So sad. Okay, trying to read comments now. Yeah, Kathy, that was recent. Huh. Well, Hannah, it's late for you. Um, the very first case that I covered was, oh, what is his name? But it was, oh, was it Arkansas or Kansas? Kansas City. It was Kansas City. The guy, see, him, his girlfriend, and his brother all lived together. They had just moved to Kansas City. She had 5 kids. 3 of them were with him, 2 were somebody else. He killed 4 of the kids and shot her. She lived. He made her call, like he called 911 and handed her the phone. Do you remember? Why can't I think of that dude's name? Um, and it didn't make any sense to me because the kids that he killed weren't all his. The one that like it just didn't make sense at all. One of them was really small, less than a year old, but they were doing psych evals on him. I wonder if they've done anything with that. I need to look it up. I probably should just go through the list of cases we've already talked about and see if there's any updates on them. Now that it's past the holidays, court should be getting swinging again. Yeah. I'm doing good. Doing good. Oh, my big. Guess what I did this week? I got to take an actual bath. I know that sounds so stupid. If you know me at all, I take a bath every night of the world. I wait till the boys go to bed. I take my nighttime meds. I turn on a podcast or something, lock the door, and put bath salts in, and I will get in the hottest dang water I can sit in, and I'll stay in there for an hour. So getting sick did not help. So I had not had a bath since September 10th, just showers, and it drives me crazy. I'm such a water person. So now it wasn't easy. Physical therapy was like, well, we need to set a goal. Like, what kind of goal do you want to set? And I'm like, I just want to be able to take a bath. And she just looked at me. And then I was like, well, I'm going to do it. So I have to get from my wheelchair into a shower seat that's in my bathtub, and then get in the bath, take the seat out, take a bath, put the chair back in there, get back up in it, which is not easy, and then get back to the wheelchair, all in. And then somewhere in that configuration, I've gotten undressed, dried off, and dressed again. It was an ordeal. It felt like I'd ran a marathon, but it was worth it. Now I couldn't do it every day. I couldn't. It was absolutely exhausting, but I didn't care. I told Dan I didn't care if I could get out as long as I could get in. They could call a whaling company and have them bring me one of those big slings and get me out of the bathtub. I don't care. I was so over it. Like, I just want to sit in my bathtub. Not crazy. You guys remember my hedgehog Penelope? She's a year old now. I know that came out of absolutely nowhere. It just popped up in my head. She's a year old now. She's a chunk. She is really, really taken to my oldest son, Xander. So when I got sick, she got moved into his room because she has to stay warm and stuff. So she could not sleep in here because it. I couldn't take it. I have a ceiling fan on. I have a big fan that blows across my room, and I have a little fan on my bedside table. So my room at any given time is probably 5 to 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the house. And so she has these little, if you've ever had to take care of chickens, these little incubator mat things in the bottom of her cage, like heating pads, but they're for animals. And so she's got two of those in there, and then she's got a heating lamp from the top, and there's a thermostat, and it will beep. We had to set a temperature on it, so if it goes, I got hiccups, it goes below a certain amount, it'll go off. So we moved her to Xander's room when I got sick, and he started taking care of her like he was before. He helped quite a bit, but he's taken over her, and she just loves him. For everybody, like she's a flat-brained animal, so they say a lot of times they can't really bond with people. They might not remember. They're not very smart. Whatever. I think she knows Xander though. She doesn't puff up as much as she used to. Surprised she hadn't quilled again, but she hasn't yet. But she's a little chunk of a potato. So he's going to Texas for college this fall. And Penelope's going to go with him. But I just can't. It was like I don't regret getting her because I really like her. I wanted a hedgehog for a long time. But since I'm so sick, hedgehogs produce salmonella. And so it's just asking for it. I get sick all the time anyway now. I'm sick like every other week. I have been since I got home, like every other week or 2 weeks at a time. I'll get a little bit of a break and then somebody will come home and sneeze and I'll be sick all over again. So messing with a hedgehog that produces salmonella, not a good idea. He wants to take her, so little Nellie Bean is gonna go to Texas this summer, end of summer, with my baby. I can't believe I have an 18-year-old kid, you guys. He's 18. It was like yesterday he was born. I still remember it. I mean, like it was yesterday. You know? Kids are growing too fast. So I have an 18-year-old, Noah's 16, and Elijah is 15. And they are all driving me crazy. Noah keeps begging me for getting a new dog. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not getting another dog. You're not even home enough to take care of Ginger. Like, no. Dan was going to school full time when we got Ginger. And so he was home a lot. Some of it he did online. And he's the one that trained her. So, she was housebroken, and there's 5 or 6 commands that she'll do. But, I mean, I'm the only one that's home all the dang time. If we got a new dog, there's no way I could train it. I mean, I can barely get in the bathtub by myself. So, and he's like, but it's a Cane Corso, and it's gonna be solid black, and I'm like, and I'm sure it's gonna have a family really quick. I do not need a dog that weighs as much as I do. There's no room in the bed. Oh, Ginger was awful today. She has gotten absolutely crazy. I guess because she's used to me being home all the time. So like when I go to the doctor and there's nobody here because the kids are at school and work and Dan's taking me, she's home by herself. Now, my doctor is like 10 minutes down the road. We're not even gone very long. We don't go out for lunch. I'm still agoraphobic at this point. And she comes home like she hasn't seen us in 5 months. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. She runs around the house like a crazy dog and yelps. I don't know. She has separation anxiety now. Godzilla, yours turned 40 in December. Your baby did? Well, my mom's will next year. Oh, Kathy, not Godzilla. Your baby turns 40 in December. Oh, that's right. I forgot I was the same age as one of your kids. Yep. I'm not telling people I'm 39. My birthday was on February 11th, and it was the 10th anniversary of my 29th birthday. I'm sticking with that. This one bothered me. I don't know if it's just because everything else going on. This is the first time like age bothered me. It was like this is the last year of my 30s. But I guess I should look at it. It's like a bonus because I've already died once, right? This is a bonus. This is my second life. Oh, what I forgot to talk about last week. Are you guys still wanting to do the book club? Because it's about time we start that. We had already voted on American Predator, which is the Israel Keys serial killer book. You guys still wanting to do that? We can re-vote on a different book if you guys. It's not the same people. We don't have to do that book if you guys want to do something else. We can. And I have a stack about a foot tall of these Honey Killer boxes because we only got one done before I got sick. I should have canceled it after this series was done. You buy it at a 6 month. I mean, you can buy it month to month, but it's a series for 6 months. There's 6 boxes in a case. When I was in the hospital, my mom had gone through my email and canceled everything because I had food deliveries and all, 3 BoxyCharm subscriptions and all kinds of stuff that was coming in, and she canceled it while I was out. And I don't know how she didn't catch Honey Killer. That one just kept going. So now I've got I think 2 boxes into the next one, and I still haven't even opened the second box of the first round. If different people want to do it, we can start over. I don't care to do the first box again. If there's people who didn't do it, I don't care to start over. You started reading it for the third time. Is it good? You're talking about American Predator, right? Oh, that was the other thing. There's supposedly an update on the Israel Keys case. They might have hooked up some more victims. That came across this week. I haven't had a chance to look at it in depth. I had a lot of headaches this week, but I need to look into that. That's probably like the first case I ever got into was Lacey Peterson. And then the Israel Keys case, I think, is fascinating. Like some people are big into Bundy. Like if you say, oh, I'm into true crime, a lot of people automatically, oh, like Ted Bundy and Manson and, oh, what's his face? Cannibal dude. Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, they're like the major three. Israel Keys, I think, is absolutely fascinating. I don't, he just doesn't fit in a box, you know? Ted Bundy, you could tell, had a problem with women. Like, that was his thing. I don't think Israel Keys had a type. He just set up traps, and whoever walked into them, single person, a couple, um, didn't care what age they were, whoever walked into the trap, that's who he took. That's who he killed. And you'd think he'd have to be a psychopath. But that man, you could not convince me he didn't love his daughter. I mean, like, to a crazy extent. He just doesn't fit a category like most of them do, you know? Well, I've talked about this on here before. If you are into podcasts, and even if you're not, go listen to it's called True Crime Bullshit. Okay, there's like, are we on season 4, season 5? It's about Israel Keys, except for one season. He did a different case the second season, I think, and then realized, and it was interesting. It's an interesting case I'd never heard of either. But I think that's when he got really, he just wanted to go back and do Israel Keys. And so the guy who hosts it, does the podcast, has quit his job and does this full time. Like, he is requesting information, he's researching stuff, tracking down stuff, interviewing people, because he doesn't, obviously, when the guy killed himself in prison, they don't know how many people he killed. They asked him for a number, and he says, he has like a smart ass answer about, oh, in the U.S., because he lived in Alaska and Washington, Pacific Northwest. And they said, oh, did you kill people in Canada too? Like, have you killed people in other countries? He goes to Guatemala once too. And he was like, Canadians don't count. So, I mean, dude went around to, he was construction worker, and he would, he did a lot of work on Native American reservations. And, something we haven't talked about on this channel, Native American women and children are killed at like a really high rate, and nobody ever hears about it because they're on reservations and they have different police than we do. It doesn't make national news. It's crazy. A lot of the women that are trafficked, women and kids, are Native American. Um, it's crazy. Um, I'm Native American. My great grandparents were, on my mom's side, were Cherokee, and then the ones on my mom's side were Cherokee. The ones on my mom's dad's side were Seminole out of Florida. My great grandpa's name was Red Wine. That's how you know you come from a family of alcoholics, when your Indian name is Red Wine. I've been getting a lot into that lately. Since I had that experience and I saw the Indians in heaven, I don't know, it's just kind of been a thing. I've been looking a lot into it. It's kind of weird. If you start following that kind of stuff, there's been like a new emergence of people that aren't full-blooded Native American or indigenous or whatever, um, that are trying to kind of figure out their roots and go back to it, and it's really, really interesting. There's a lot of Indian stuff here. I went to Sequoia High School, the town that I grew up in is the Sequoia Birthplace Museum. We have a whole museum of Cherokee stuff. My aunts were trying to learn Cherokee. It's kind of interesting. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know how much. I don't know if it'd stick in my brain at this age. But I used to really be into. I used to have an Ancestry.com account. I was big into genealogy for a while. When I was in high school, I had an English teacher, and my gosh, that woman was like 4'9". She was tiny, and she was huge into genealogy. I've never in my life seen anybody as like dedicated as she was, and so I had her for um, study hall for 2 years, right? Yeah, Miss Kirk, and she would come in on Monday morning. I swear to God, she would have a stack of newspapers, 6, 8 inches thick, from every newspaper that she could get within a certain mile radius around where she lived. And she would come in and set it on my desk. And all she had me do was go to the obituaries and cut them out. I would have to cut out each one, put them in alphabetical order, and then give them to her at the end of study hall, and she would file them away. But I mean, she was big into it. Big, big, big. My dad was pretty big into it. His stuff is easy to trace. He did his back like 8 generations or something. Um, it's harder. Native Americans, especially um, Cherokee, it's really hard to trace because once they did the Trail of Tears, there was a certain group of them who really dug into the mountains here, the Smoky Mountains, and refused to go. And so they weren't tracked, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's where my people are. They didn't go. So it's hard to. Native American genealogy is quite a bit harder than anybody else. What are we hiding out from? This is a safe corner of YouTube. It's probably the dark corner of you. Well, no, I've seen worse. Yep, yep. You guys are the regulars. I'll start doing videos again. The channel will pick back up. Discord will probably pick back up. It was weird. So much changed when I got sick. I mean, I never would have imagined the things. People that have left, people that have stayed. Um, I can honestly say my relationship with every person I know is different. It's crazy. Okay, so we announced the winner, Kate C. I went over the book club. I talked about the Honey Killer thing. We need to start that back up. And I'm going to start doing videos again. I need to look into Cash Gurning, see what's going on over there. I need to go catch back up, see what they found with Israel Keys. Oh, back to that. The podcast. The guy, his name is Josh something. Anyway, he found out, he tracked Israel Keys was in the military. Well, he acts like he did not kill anybody when he was in the military. That's what he says to the FBI anyway. But he was at Fort Hood. And if y'all know anything about Fort Hood, People disappear from there all the time. It's the most dangerous army base in the U.S. It's humongous. It is huge. But do you remember um, last summer, or was it 2 summers ago? The girl went missing. What was her name? Um, she she was stationed at Fort Hood. Her boss had sexually harassed her. I think he raped her. I'm not sure. But he was friends with like the dude that's above him, and so trying to turn him into the military it's an ordeal. Um, and then she went missing. You remember he killed her with a hammer inside the armory? And he had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend was married to another dude in the army, which is a no-no. They will put you in the brig for that crap if you're a military member and you're caught doing that. Um, anyway, he killed her, got his girlfriend to help him clean it up and get rid of her body. Yeah, Vanessa, that was her name. Um, and so Texas EquiSearch was called in by her family because they weren't getting any answers. When her family went to Fort Hood to talk to them about her being missing, the dude that killed her is who met her parents when they got there. And it just fawned over them like, I'm so sorry, she was such a sweet girl. All the while, he's the one that killed her, took her body out in one of these big cases that they pack weapons in. It's like a big hard case. Those things are heavy as crap. And they took her out off base, buried her, and then they went back and dismembered her and tried to burn her. Didn't work. And so then they buried her remains, and I think they put concrete over them or whatever. And so he got caught. They were, what happened? They were investigating him. He was told that he could not leave base. And when they came to arrest him, he walked off base. Cops surrounded him at like a gas station. He had on like a pair of shorts and shoes and no shirt or something stupid. And as they surrounded him, he pulled a gun out of his pocket and killed himself. Broad daylight in the front of the gas station. And I do not think the woman has even been charged. I don't think she's been charged with anything. It was ridiculous, the stuff that they found on his cell phone. I mean, so stupid. But anyway, it got political. The family's lawyer went to Congress and said they wanted a congressional hearing, and then they were promised a congressional hearing. I do not think they've had it because of COVID and everything, or whatever. They don't want to do it, whatever they're doing up there on the Hill right now. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But Tim Miller from Texas EquiSearch was called in by the family to look for her. And in the process of looking for her, they found more bodies. They found bodies. So they did find her. He found her too. They had brought in dogs and stuff. They found her. And anyway, Josh Hallmark is his name that does the Israel Keys podcast. I guess he started looking at Fort Hood when he found out Israel Keys was stationed at Fort Hood and how many women went missing from Fort Hood, they think some of those people could have been tied to Israel Keys, which would be really interesting. Could not believe it. Tim Miller, I think he found two bodies of missing people before they found Vanessa. Is that not nuts? I mean, that is absolutely nuts. But it got really political, and so all the people that should have had their uniforms stripped off of them just got transferred to other bases. They just did a shakeup, and nobody really got in trouble. It really made me mad. It was so sad though. And when I heard that the guy that killed her is who welcomed the family on base, my blood ran. I mean, just boiled. I can't even imagine. And what justice did they get? He killed himself. You know, that is not so sad. So sad. Yeah, that whole case was stupid. Just knowing, like, I remember when it happened. My husband was in the Air Force. He did ammo. So it's not a job that transfers well out of the military when job is to build bombs. Doesn't transfer well. But I mean, we lived on base. I've been to his work. I know what an armory looks like. And it was just like they didn't find any forensic evidence in there. And when they came back and said that he killed her with a hammer, I'm just like, how in the world did they not find anything? Not get caught, an alarm, a camera, like there was a guy on the base we were stationed at killed his wife. You can watch his interrogation video here on YouTube. His wife. They had a little girl together. They divorced. She went to Florida. He stayed at Seymour Johnson in North Carolina where we were. And he went down to Florida. It was an ugly divorce. Went down to Florida for visitation. Killed her mom. And the way they caught him, they found whenever you go on to a military base, they have to check your ID. And there are cameras. So they catch every single person that comes in. And they saw him come back on base with her. And, anybody just looked at it would have thought she was asleep in the passenger seat, but she was dead. He killed her. He wouldn't confess to crap. And the interrogation video is everything you shouldn't do to interrogate people. And it went bad, but they gave him this deal. They knew he'd done it. They could not find her body. And so they gave him this sweetheart kind of a deal in exchange for her body, and he took it. I mean, he practically walked away. He took them to her body. He'd buried her off somewhere in Florida. And it's like, you idiot. You have taken that little girl's mom. You've taken yourself away from her. Like, what are you thinking? Domestic violence in the military is pretty bad, though. A lot of people that come back from, Dan calls it the sandbox, Iraq, Afghanistan, they, they're angry, they have all kinds of PTSD, and they're not encouraged to deal with it in a good way, and a lot of times it transfers to the family, It was always hard when Dan came back from deployments. It was rough. Coming back to where, Dan went to Afghanistan twice. He went to Turkey once. He went to Qatar once. Um, you have to wear actual assault rifles 24/7. Like they have to be within arm's reach of you, even when you're asleep. It's that change when you come home, and there's not crap blowing up outside the wall, and it's crazy. I'm glad it's over for Dan. There's still a lot of people who even knows what's going on now. I'm hoping we're not about to get in a stupid war with Russia. Oh. And the way we left Afghanistan really, really bothered me. But that was right before I got sick. So hard to believe that's been 20 years ago. There are certain days in history, I think, that you'll just always remember where you were and everything that happened. That was ours. That was mine. I'll always remember that. Gabby Petito. That's the Brian Landry one, right? That killed. Yeah. The only good thing is when these idiots kill themselves, at least they haven't taken somebody else with them. You don't have to worry about them getting away with it and killing some more people. That's the only. The family is not going to have to go through a trial. I don't know. I don't know if there is a good side. I just try to find something positive in it. As badly as I hate Lori and Chad, I wish that they would plea just so the family doesn't have to go through two trials. Because I do think they're gonna bust them apart. I think Chad will go first because they still haven't found Lori competent unless I missed it. I think Chad's gonna go to trial first. I wish they would just plea, and they're not going to get out. That's got to be the only plea deal that they'll get is life without possibility of parole in Colorado. Colorado's where they have that really bad prison. I hope that's where they send Chad. Remember the one that Chris Watts was terrified of? Whenever they were moving Watts from jail over to Dodge, they stopped at that really bad prison. And he thought that's where they were taking him because they're not allowed to tell the prisoners where they're going because it leaves them open to jailbreaks and stuff like that, them trying to get away. He thought he was going there. They had just stopped to go to the bathroom and stuff because they can't stop anywhere else because they have a prisoner, from what I understand anyway. And he was freaking out because they were at that really bad prison. I guess his mom had told him he just hoped he didn't get that prison. They should have left him there. Should have left him there. Oh, Chris Watts. Why Colorado? I don't know. If you are like leaving your husband, do not move to Colorado. If your husband says, let's move to Colorado, don't go. I don't know what is in the water over there. I don't. Don't go to Colorado. That's all I have to say. I don't know. I don't know that statistically you're more like, they have a higher rate of killing their spouse, their kid, whatever. But it just seems like there for a chunk, it was a lot of Colorado cases. Patrick Frazee, Letitia, Chris Watts, Barry Morphew. Oh, I need to get checked back into that. I saw that Paul did a live the other day. I need to figure out what's going on with Morphew. Is he out on bail? Did I read that right? So is he out on bail? He got us. That lawyer. He got a good lawyer, you guys. Now it's Idaho. Yeah. Yeah. Barry Morphew. I tell you, I feel sorry for those girls. Man alive. I just don't think he should be allowed to talk to him. I know that they're his kids, and I'm sure they want to talk to him. I'm sure that they don't want this to be true. Like, if I had to walk a mile in those shoes, after you've lost your mom, you can't possibly want to believe that you're going to lose your dad too, and that he's the reason you lost your mom, you know? I think the best thing they ever did was be quiet, not say anything. Because, good Lord, look at Chad's kids. The ones that have talked look terrible. Like, it doesn't do them any good to talk to the media. Just, I don't know that if I saw a picture of them, I would say, oh, yeah, it's Barry Morphew's kids. I don't think I've seen that many. I'm glad they were quiet. I feel for them. On Mother's Day, what a piece of trash. Kill your wife on Mother's Day while your kids are out of town. But Barry Morphew got Crystal Kenny, Patrick Frazee's girlfriend. Barry got her lawyer, who got that sweetheart of a deal. She wasn't in jail for no time. She never was arrested. I think her first day in, like, she got a plea deal before she ever sat down with the police. That woman should be serving years in prison for what she did and what she didn't do. I wish to God they had caught her lying about something during that trial and took it away from her. But then the big loser, after she did get time, she asked for her sentence to be, like, they had to do a post-sentencing report. So they asked that she wouldn't go to prison until after the holidays. And I'm like, you didn't care about Kelsey's holidays. What about Kelsey's baby? She's not going to get her mama for her holiday, you know? And then when she did go to prison, she got out in a couple of months, had that stupid sentence reduced. I mean, she didn't even get 6 months. I'm worried about Mary Morphew. Like, I'm worried about that case, I'll be honest. I don't know what kind of evidence they have, but nobody, that lawyer being on his side, ain't looking good. Barry Morphew ain't gonna have no money, though. Whatever he took from his wife, he ain't gonna have no money after this is over. Yeah. Barry Morphew is something else. Something else. Him and Letitia ought to be pen pals, you know? That's crazy. I worry about that case. I don't know. They're good lawyers. The woman that he got, I don't know how a woman defense attorney is like, yeah, I'm going to help defend people who kill their wives. That'd be great. I don't know. I need to check on Scott Peterson. They were thinking about giving him a new trial. The only way that would be even, the only upside I see in that is maybe they'll send him to another state that'll put him to death, and maybe we'll actually see the trial this time. But my God, can you imagine? I was pregnant with Xander, my 18-year-old, when Lacey Peterson was pregnant with Connor. And I think that's what sucked me into that case, is because when I saw her picture on the news, we had bought the same outfit for Christmas. That picture of her sitting in the rocking chair with her hand on her belly, and it's like a red satiny thing. I had bought the same thing for Christmas because I was pregnant. I know where she got it. And she was really young. I just felt so sorry. Golly. That was the case, wasn't it? The audacity of him asking for another trial. Goodness. He won't have the same lawyer. Mark Gergo said he ain't touching that. He didn't get all the money he wanted. That was like $1 million um, case for him, and he didn't get nothing after all that. I mean, it took, what, 3 years to even go to court? But I remember they found her due date was my birthday, February 11th. And then on my due date, they found her. It was weird. Yeah. I'll always remember Lacey Peterson stuff. Gosh, that's when I got big into Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace. Oh, I can't take much of Nancy Grace anymore. But boy, I watched it religiously back then. I used to watch Nancy Grace all the time. Have you ever seen that interview where she is questioning this dad of a missing kid? And she's like, hold on, we're just getting word that your son's been found. And he's like, oh my God, what? Like, he just looks shocked. And she's like, they said he's in your basement? That was the craziest. Nancy Grace. I guess it was like a publicity stunt. I don't know. How crazy is that? Hello, Laura and Beth. Where have I been? In my room. um, really sick. But I'm trying to get back in the swing of things, pick up some more cases. Because it's not slowing down. Now is we're going to start hearing the really bad ones, I think. The kids that are missing that were handled during COVID, during the lockdown, and all that mess. And how many kids are missing, we don't even know. You know, look at the West Boys. You don't even that case. You don't even know when those kids went missing. You know what I mean? What made them call 911 that day? I bet you somebody was coming in to see them for Christmas, and they were like, missing 2 kids. We gotta do something. How are they not arrested at this point, you know? My goodness. Oh, I remember the other thing I watched. I think it's true crimey. I've been watching. Have you guys? Okay, you know about the Alec Baldwin arrest thing, yeah? Have you? He got hit with a civil suit from the woman's family that he killed, the director or whatever. And as part of the case, her lawyers had a CGI movie made that showed step by step what happened. Have you guys seen that? Have y'all seen the video? You think he's going to get arrested? The fact that they had to file a civil case at this point, I bet you they don't do anything criminally. He'll probably settle for an ungodly amount of money and just walk away from it. But if you watch that video, like, it's crazy. It's a little small church chapel building. Yeah, it's full of pews. The camera is set up, the director, the assistant director, the cinematographer, the lighting, the people, the gaffers that hold the microphones are all shoved in the middle aisle. He was 6 feet away from her. Looking straight at her. The gun was pointed at her. I mean, he hit her middle of the chest. It severed her spinal cord. Like, if would it seem like he'd aim at a camera? Like, if they were trying to get a shot? Why? He should have been arrested. But that BS interview that he did, and he was like, I didn't even know that I'd shot anybody for 45 minutes. And I'm like, how? You were doing a setup for a scene. The thing goes off. I've held a gun. When it goes off, it kicks. It kicks a lot more than when you have a blank in there. Like, so then I wanted to know, how the hell did he get out of the church? There's only one door, the little chapel. He had to walk around the two people laying in the aisle just to get out the door to go outside and play with his phone. And then he acts like he had no idea until he was sitting in the police station and the guy said that she was dead. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, how are people not screaming in the middle of the chapel? How do you not know somebody was shot when they're 5 feet away from you? There's something so weird about that to me. I can't believe him. You know that interview that he did with, what's his name? Keep on calling Galapagos, Stephanopoulos. That was the stupidest interview I've ever seen in my life. And if you haven't watched it, go over to what's the body language? Is it the body language? What is it? I watch them all the time and I'm brain dead. COVID brain is a thing. Um, they break down his body language in that interview. I don't believe a word he says. Not a word. You know, he's talking about how he's had 30 years of training with firearms. All right, why did the armorer not hand you the gun? Why did you take it? Why didn't you check and make sure it wasn't loaded? I just don't know. I mean, even if you don't know crap about guns, this is a revolver that you have to cock. Like, how do you not? I mean, if all you have ever, even if you're not a gun person or have any kind of real experience other than like movies where you only play with blanks or whatever, why did that one not seem different to you? I don't understand how he even attempts to say he didn't know he'd shot somebody and just walked outside. I mean, even if you believed him and he said he thought she fainted, are you really such a really badass actor that you just walk over a woman in the floor and it's like, not my job. I ain't paid enough for this. When you say that somebody got shot on a set, in my brain, it's a big sound stage. You know what I mean? Like three walls, it's all open. So I mean, this was a tiny room, enclosed. It's a little chapel. I mean, there's a one way in and one way out, and it's the big double doors up front. He had to go around her and the guy behind her that he shot. The bullet went through her into another guy. I mean, why? I just can't even. I can't even. A lot of people say that he killed her on purpose uh, because she was screwing up the movie. Some stuff was going on. The people weren't happy. The production side of stuff, they weren't happy. And maybe he did it because he was mad and he's a hothead. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that he would kill somebody. I mean, obviously, I don't know the dude. I've heard a lot of his crap. Have you ever heard him talk his phone conversation with his daughter when he was mad? And she's like 12 and he's cussing her out like she's a grown woman. Dude has some issues. I don't know how you come out of that family and not have issues, to be honest. I'm not an Alec Baldwin fan. Whenever the first time we saw John Pryor, I said, he looks like Alec Baldwin. So if they ever, I can remember telling people, they ever make this a movie, they need to hire Alec Baldwin to play John Pryor. Because I think they look alike. But it's ridiculous. But I mean, even if he shot her, it doesn't even mean that he is the one who wanted to kill her. Who gave him the gun? It wasn't the armorer. Did somebody else on the set want to kill? I mean, it's crazy. Like, there's so many things that have to align. First of all, he had to fire the gun. He wasn't supposed to. Second, somebody had to load a real bullet in it. So, I mean, there have got to be multiple people in on it. You know what I mean? He didn't load it. And if he did, somebody else helped. I mean, to get it where the armorer didn't hand it to him. You know what I mean? Because at first I thought maybe somebody else wanted her dead and knew he wouldn't check the gun, and so they put a real bullet in it. You know, maybe they knew that scene was coming up to be shot and they would get away with it. You know what I mean? But he wasn't even supposed to shoot the gun. Like, it wasn't, they weren't filming. But I guess you could do it thinking, well, after they practiced a couple of times, they would have filmed it, I guess. I don't know. It could be any number of things, but for him to get up there and trash the armor, I don't know. You know, a lot of people have come to her defense, other movies. They said she was a good armorer. I don't know. Guns aren't toys, people. I used to be terrified of guns. Terrified. We had a neighbor when I was little, and the little girl, they lived in this big A-frame house, and the whole front of the house was windows, like floor to ceiling windows. And well, it was the neighbor of my mama's house, and so on the weekends I used to go over there because my cousins would come over and we would all be there, and she would take us to church, and we'd come back and you know have lunch, watch cartoons, ride bikes, play outside, eat the honeysuckles, whatever. So the next door neighbor had a little girl, and then she had like 12, 13-year-old brother, and the dad and the brother went hunting. When they came back home, they sat the gun on the table, and this was so long ago, I don't remember all the details, but the gun ended up falling off the table, like somebody bumped it, whatever. It went off, and it shot the little girl and killed her. She died in her mom's arms in the back of a car on the way to the hospital. And so I was terrified of guns when I was growing up. Terrified. So my dad is a very big gun enthusiast. Like he has all kinds of them. Um, remember baby proofing his house, and I was like, "You have to take the Gatling gun off of the fireplace. It's got to go somewhere else. It's not usable. I guess they have to do something to it. Um, it's like a World War II Gatling gun. They have to do something to it for private citizens to buy it. It was like a military thing. He was in the military, but anyway." They have guns everywhere. I didn't even know where all the guns were in that house. Who knows? I was a lot more scared of them until Dan Dan used them at work, and then he had guns, but they were at his parents' house. So after we got married, it was a couple of years, and he's like, "I want to buy one. I want a handgun." And I was like, "Oh gosh," because I still had three pretty young kids in the house. Elijah was 5 or 6, so Noah would have been 7, Xander would have been 8 or 9. And he was like, "Everybody has to learn how to shoot it and how to check it and make sure that it's not loaded and how to unload it." So I bought him a gun safe that you have to put your hand on top and it has to read your fingerprints to even open. I was still pretty crazy about it. But I learned how to do it, how to unload it, how to check it, how to shoot it. They're scary though. We had kids in the house. But anyway, you guys, I'm getting hungry. We have been on here forever. What, almost 2 hours? I think I missed a ton of comments. I'll have to go back and read them. So anyway, I will. If you want to do the book club, get on Discord. I will put a new link because we'll probably just do it on there. I probably won't do a video like this. We'll just get a voice chat on Discord and do the book thing. If you're interested in doing Hunt a Killer, let me know. Send me a message. Discord is the best place to be. If not, you can send me an email. Rotary Dial and Kate C need to contact me and give me their mailing address so I can get packages out of here. If you have a case that you think I need to look at, let me know. I'm going to get back into this. What else was it? I think that's it. It probably wasn't the most exciting live I've ever done. I didn't have like a ton of stuff I wanted to talk about. But I'm glad you guys showed up and spent your Sunday with me for a little bit. I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things, At least didn't echo in my earbuds this time. The last one I echoed the entire time before I figured out I had YouTube open in my Discord. That's why I was hearing myself echo the whole time. It was great. I'm glad my internet quit dropping. I'm glad that happened. But anyway, so if I don't do a video this week, I will be back here Sunday to do a live. I'm really going to try to get some stuff going again. I'm just out of practice. But anyway, so thanks for spending Sunday with me. I'm going to go in here and figure out what we're doing for dinner because nobody will do it unless I yell at them. I don't know what they did. I think other people did it while I was gone. Somebody's got to yell at these guys. I don't know. But anyway, I will see you guys next week. Bye.